When your eyes are on someone else's life, your own life stands still. Comparison is a thief that steals silently and always takes more than it gives. The moment you stop looking outward, everything inside you begins to grow. Chapter 5. Constant comparison. How financial envy steals your peace. Financial envy is one of the most subtle yet destructive forces in modern life. It does not shout, it whispers. It appears quietly, often without warning, as you scroll through social media, talk to friends, or observe the achievements of others. It begins with a simple question: why not me? And from that moment, it slowly begins to erode your peace, your clarity, and your sense of progress. Envy arises when we compare our internal experience to someone else's external display. We see their successes, but not their sacrifices. We see their possessions, but not their responsibilities. We see their highlights, but not the private challenges they navigate. This incomplete picture tricks the mind into believing that others are advancing faster, achieving more, or living easier lives. The emotional impact is immediate. Envy replaces gratitude with dissatisfaction, contentment with anxiety, and focus with self-doubt. The danger of financial envy is that it shifts attention away from your own path. Instead of focusing on your goals, your growth, and your values, you begin to measure your life with someone else's metrics. The progress you once celebrated now feels insignificant. What once made you proud now feels inadequate. You begin to chase symbols of success rather than the substance of it, all because comparison has distorted your sense of worth. Financial envy also creates emotional turbulence. It heightens insecurity. It fuels fear of falling behind. It makes even the most thoughtful financial decisions feel insufficient. You might begin to question your pace, your choices, or your future, not because anything is wrong, but because you are comparing your journey to someone whose reality you cannot fully see. Envy quietly takes away joy from what you have earned and blinds you to what you are capable of achieving. This emotional disruption often leads to financial consequences. When envy takes root, people may spend impulsively to catch up, pursue opportunities that do not align with their values, or push themselves into unnecessary debt in an attempt to match someone else's appearance. Envy convinces the mind that status is more important than stability, and image more valuable than intention. The result is stress, pressure, and long-term regret, far greater than the temporary satisfaction of trying to keep up. Financial envy also alters your perception of time. Instead of trusting your pace, you begin to rush. You feel compelled to achieve more, faster, without regard for your own readiness. This urgency creates emotional fatigue and reduces your ability to make thoughtful decisions. The comparison becomes a constant background noise, distracting you from the quiet discipline that true financial progress requires. But the most profound cost of financial envy is internal. It steals your ability to appreciate your own path. It disconnects you from your strengths, your progress, and your potential. It makes you forget that your journey is unique, shaped by your experiences, your values, your circumstances, and your goals. When you measure your worth through someone else's achievements, you silence the deeper truth that your life cannot and should not be defined by external comparison. Regaining peace begins with recognizing that comparison is a distortion, not a truth. No two financial journeys are identical. Every person carries different responsibilities, opportunities, risks, and histories. Success cannot be measured on a universal timeline. When you release the expectation to match someone else's life, you return to your own purpose. You begin to focus on progress rather than perfection, on alignment rather than appearance. Peace is found not in surpassing others, but in honoring your own path. It grows when you celebrate your milestones, however small, and when you measure your life by your values rather than by external markers. Financial freedom begins internally, with clarity, gratitude, discipline, and emotional balance. And none of these qualities can flourish in a mind consumed by envy. When you let go of comparison, you regain your center. You gain the ability to build a meaningful life at your own pace, guided by your own vision and grounded in your own truth. This is the peace that envy steals, and the peace you can reclaim the moment you choose to return your attention to the journey that belongs to you alone. The neighbor syndrome, believing everyone else is doing better. One of the most pervasive illusions in modern life is the belief that everyone around us is doing better, earning more, achieving more, living with more ease, or progressing more quickly. This mindset, often called the neighbor syndrome, is not rooted in truth but in perception. It emerges when we compare our private struggles to the public versions of other people's lives. And because this comparison is inherently incomplete, it almost always leads to the same conclusion: others are ahead, and we are behind. The human mind is naturally inclined to fill in gaps when information is missing. When we see someone with a new home, a new car, a promotion, or a luxurious lifestyle, we rarely consider the full context. We do not see their debts, anxieties, sacrifices, or uncertainties. Instead, we create a simplified narrative, one that paints their life as superior, seamless, and effortless. The irony is that while we imagine their life to be free of struggle, they may be looking at someone else with the same sense of inadequacy. This psychological distortion has deep emotional consequences. Believing that others are doing better creates quiet but constant pressure. It fosters feelings of inadequacy, urgency, and self-doubt. It shifts the focus from personal progress to external comparison. Instead of acknowledging how far we have come, we become preoccupied with how far we believe others have gone. This mindset erodes confidence, diminishes gratitude, and undermines the stability required for thoughtful financial decisions. The neighbor syndrome also fuels impulsive behavior. When someone believes they are falling behind, they may feel pushed to accelerate their life artificially, spending beyond their means, taking unnecessary risks, or pursuing opportunities that do not align with their values. The emotional urgency to catch up leads to decisions driven by fear rather than clarity. Financial plans become reactive instead of intentional. Yet the most profound cost of the neighbor syndrome is internal. It distorts the way we see ourselves. It convinces us that our progress is inadequate, even when it is meaningful. It makes ordinary achievements feel insignificant simply because they do not mirror someone else's lifestyle. This mindset steals the joy of personal growth and replaces it with a constant sense of deficiency. To overcome this illusion, it is essential to recognize that every person's financial life is shaped by unique circumstances, opportunities, challenges, responsibilities, and experiences that cannot be compared on equal footing. The surface reveals nothing about the depth of someone's reality. The neighbor who appears financially comfortable may be overwhelmed by debt. The coworker who seems highly successful may feel insecure about the future. The friend who looks confident may be carrying burdens no one sees. Comparison fails because it compares stories that were never meant to match. Reclaiming peace begins with returning to your own path. Instead of asking, "How am I doing compared to others?" ask, Am I moving toward the life I want to build? This question shifts the focus from external validation to internal alignment. It replaces urgency with intention. It brings clarity to what truly matters: your values, your goals, and your pace. The freedom from neighbor syndrome also comes from acknowledging your progress with honesty and compassion. Every step forward, no matter how quiet or small, is meaningful. Your journey does not become more valuable when it resembles someone else's. It becomes valuable when it moves you closer to your own vision of a fulfilling life. Ultimately, the belief that everyone else is doing better is not a reflection of reality. It is a reflection of how comparison distorts perception. When you release this belief, you regain emotional stability, financial clarity, and inner calm. You rediscover the truth that your journey is not a race but a personal evolution. And when you honor your own path, you reclaim the peace that comparison quietly takes away. How comparison kills discipline and focus. Discipline and focus are the quiet engines of financial progress. They work in the background through consistent habits, thoughtful decisions, and long-term vision. But comparison disrupts this process with remarkable force. When you begin to measure your life against someone else's, the steady rhythm of your own journey becomes fractured. Your priorities shift, your goals blur, and your ability to maintain discipline weakens. Comparison does not simply distract you. It dismantles the internal stability required to build lasting financial health. At its core, discipline is the commitment to your own path. It requires believing in your plan even when progress feels slow. It demands patience, persistence, and trust in the long-term results of repeated effort. When comparison enters the mind, it interrupts this trust. Suddenly, your pace feels inadequate, your achievements feel small, your strategy feels insufficient. The emotional ground beneath your feet becomes unstable, and the consistent habits you once valued begin to lose their meaning. Comparison also creates a sense of urgency that is incompatible with disciplined progress. When you see others advancing in ways that appear faster or more impressive, you may feel pressured to accelerate your own journey without regard for readiness or intention. This urgency can lead to impulsive decisions, abandoning a well-thought-out plan in favor of something that simply looks more rewarding or more immediate. The discipline built through careful planning collapses under the weight of emotional reaction. Focus suffers as well. When your attention becomes centered on what others are doing, it is diverted from the work you need to accomplish. Instead of refining your strategy, you analyze theirs. Instead of nurturing your strengths, you compare them to someone else's. Instead of building your financial habits patiently, you question whether they are enough. This fragmentation of attention weakens your ability to stay aligned with your long-term vision. Comparison also distorts your goals. What once mattered to you may lose its significance when contrasted with someone else's accomplishments. You may begin to pursue goals that do not reflect your values simply because they resemble the achievements you see around you. This creates a dangerous cycle. Pursuing the wrong goals leads to frustration. Frustration weakens discipline, and weakened discipline reinforces the belief that others are ahead. In this way, comparison becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. One of the most damaging effects of comparison is its impact on emotional resilience. Financial discipline requires the ability to endure discomfort, navigate setbacks, and remain committed even when results are not immediate. Comparison undermines this resilience by amplifying feelings of inadequacy and self-criticism. Instead of seeing challenges as part of the process, you interpret them as signs that you are falling behind. This emotional interpretation can derail even the strongest intentions. To protect your discipline and focus, it is essential to create mental boundaries around comparison. This does not mean ignoring the world around you. It means grounding yourself in your own values, your own timeline, and your own truth. Ask yourself, does this comparison help me grow, or does it distract me from my purpose? This question restores clarity. It reminds you that discipline is not measured by speed or visibility, but by consistency and alignment. When you remain focused on your own journey, discipline becomes easier. You recognize that progress is built slowly and intentionally. You understand that setbacks do not define your worth. You value the quiet victories that others cannot see, and you learn to appreciate the process as much as the outcome. Comparison may be tempting, but it is never accurate. It offers a distorted perspective that undermines the very qualities, focus, patience, dedication, that create financial success. When you release the need to measure your life against others, you reclaim the mental space required to stay disciplined. You become more effective, more intentional, and more grounded. In the end, discipline thrives in environments of clarity, not comparison. And when you protect your focus from external noise, you give yourself the greatest advantage possible: the ability to build your future with unwavering commitment, at your pace, on your terms. People who made money only after they stopped comparing themselves. Some of the most powerful transformations in personal finance come from individuals who realized that comparison was silently sabotaging their progress. Their stories reveal an important truth. Clarity, discipline, and prosperity begin the moment you stop measuring your life against others and start investing in your own path. Consider the story of a man who spent years trying to match the lifestyles of those around him. Each time a colleague bought a new car, he felt compelled to upgrade his own. When friends took expensive vacations, he followed, often with money he did not truly have. His efforts to keep up created a constant cycle of stress, debt, and distraction. He made decisions based not on his goals, but on his fear of appearing behind. Everything changed when a financial setback forced him to confront his habits. For the first time, he looked inward instead of outward. He created a simple plan focused on paying off debt, building savings, and investing small amounts consistently. He avoided environments that triggered comparison and committed to living quietly below his means. Within a few years, the stability he once chased externally became something he built internally. And for the first time in his life, he experienced genuine financial growth. Another story comes from a woman who struggled with comparison on social media. She watched people her age buying homes, launching businesses, and achieving milestones she believed she should have already reached. Feeling inadequate, she jumped from idea to idea, seeking quick success to catch up. But rushing only led to burnout and frustration. One day, after hearing a mentor say, "Your path has nothing to do with theirs," she made a decision that changed everything. She deleted the apps that fed her anxiety and stopped consuming content that made her doubt her pace. With the noise removed, she redirected her focus toward her own strengths, skills she had overlooked because she was too busy comparing them to others. She started a modest online service rooted in what she genuinely enjoyed. Without the pressure to outperform anyone, she worked with clarity and calm. What began as a small side project grew steadily, eventually surpassing the income she once envied in others. Her breakthrough came not from accelerating her pace, but from honoring it. A third story involves an entrepreneur who struggled to grow his business because he constantly compared it to larger, more established companies. This comparison led him to overspend, buying equipment he did not need, implementing strategies that did not align with his audience, and chasing trends that belonged to industries completely different from his own. He invested in image, not intention. After nearly exhausting his savings, he realized he had been building someone else's vision instead of his own. He paused, reevaluated, and chose to rebuild from the foundation. He shifted his focus back to the strengths of his business, his unique customer base, and the pace that allowed him to grow sustainably. Within a year, the simplicity of his approach created profitability he had never achieved when he was trying to keep up with competitors. These stories share a common theme. The moment each person stopped comparing themselves was the moment they began to see clearly. Comparison had clouded their judgment, weakened their discipline, and overshadowed their strengths. But when the comparison ended, space opened. Space for self-awareness, for purpose, for thoughtful decision-making. Their progress accelerated not because life became easier, but because their attention returned to the only place where growth is truly possible, their own journey. Financial success requires presence. It requires the ability to look inward, to build patiently, to trust your timeline, and to recognize that your story is not meant to look like anyone else's. These individuals discovered that their greatest opportunities were waiting beneath the weight of comparison. When they released that weight, they found clarity, stability, and prosperity on their own terms, at their own pace, in their own way. Their stories remind us of a profound truth. You do not grow when you chase someone else's life. You grow when you commit to your own. Exercise. Redefine your personal metric of success. One of the most powerful steps you can take to break free from constant comparison is to redefine what success means to you personally. Without a clear internal definition, your mind will default to external measures: income, possessions, recognition, or social approval. These borrowed metrics create anxiety, pressure, and dissatisfaction because they reflect someone else's values, not your own. Redefining success is the process of reclaiming your emotional and financial autonomy. This exercise begins with a simple truth. Success is not universal. It is intimate. It is specific. It is shaped by your life story, your desires, your responsibilities, and your values. What feels fulfilling to you may be irrelevant to someone else. What brings peace to your life may not look impressive to others. This is why a personal metric of success must come from within. It cannot be inherited, imposed, or copied. To begin, take a quiet moment and ask yourself, what does a successful life look like for me? Not for society, not for my peers, but for me. Allow your mind to move beyond external symbols. Focus instead on emotional states and lived experiences. Does success mean stability, freedom, time with family, the ability to make choices without fear, the opportunity to create something meaningful? These answers form the foundation of your personal metric. Next, identify the values that guide your decisions. Values are the compass of your financial life. They determine what feels right, what feels purposeful, and what aligns with your deeper self. Your values might include growth, contribution, creativity, security, independence, or balance. When your financial decisions align with these values, progress feels natural and fulfilling. When they do not, even impressive achievements feel empty. Now explore the behaviors that support your version of success. For some, success may mean living below their means and building long-term stability. For others, it may involve pursuing opportunities that allow them to express their talents. For others still, success may be the freedom to choose how they spend their time. These behaviors become the markers you use to evaluate your progress. not the possessions or appearances that comparison encourages. A crucial part of this exercise is letting go of timelines. Comparison thrives on the belief that success must happen quickly or publicly. But personal success respects the rhythm of your life. It does not rush, it evolves. It expands gradually through discipline and intention. When you release the pressure to meet external timelines, you regain the freedom to progress at the pace that is sustainable for you. To finalize your personal metric, write down a simple statement that reflects your definition of success. It might look like this: success for me is having the freedom to make choices without fear. Success is living according to my values, not others' expectations. Success is building stability and peace for my future. Success is growing into the person I aspire to become. This statement becomes your anchor. Each time comparison arises, return to it. Each time envy whispers, return to it. Each time you feel pressured to prove something, read it again. It reminds you that your journey is unique, that your pace is valid, and that your worth is not measured by external approval. When you redefine success internally, your financial behavior transforms. You stop chasing markers that do not belong to you. You stop making decisions to impress. You stop feeling inadequate because someone else is ahead on a path you were never meant to follow. Instead, you make choices grounded in clarity, wisdom, and authenticity. Redefining your personal metric of success is not just an exercise. It is a shift in consciousness. It is the moment you take back control of your story. And once you do, comparison loses its power, discipline becomes natural, and peace becomes possible. You begin building a life that reflects your truth, not the illusion of someone else's. When you stop looking outward, everything starts blooming inward. There is a profound shift that occurs the moment you stop measuring your life through the lens of others. When you release the habit of constantly observing, comparing, and evaluating your progress against external standards, an entirely different kind of growth begins. Quiet, steady, and deeply authentic. This inward blooming is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself because it reconnects you with the very place where real transformation begins, within. Looking outward keeps your attention scattered. It ties your emotions to things you cannot control, other people's achievements, lifestyles, opportunities, or timelines. It pulls your energy in a direction that never leads inward and never leads forward. Every moment spent observing someone else is a moment taken away from nurturing your own potential. Over time, this outward focus creates tension, doubt, and the silent belief that you are not enough. But when you turn your gaze inward, something remarkable happens. You rediscover your pace. You rediscover your values. You rediscover the unique rhythm of your own journey, one that does not need to resemble anyone else's to be meaningful or successful. This inward attention is the soil where clarity grows. It allows you to hear your own voice again, unfiltered by comparison and untouched by external expectations. When you stop looking outward, your confidence strengthens. Instead of relying on validation from the world, you begin to validate yourself through your actions, your consistency, and your growth. You measure progress not by visibility, but by alignment. A plan that once felt slow now feels intentional. A decision that once seemed small now feels significant. You no longer question your path simply because it does not mirror someone else's. You embrace it because it belongs to you. This shift also restores emotional peace. Without the noise of comparison, your mind becomes calmer. You experience gratitude with greater depth because you finally see what is already working in your life. You notice your progress with honesty. You appreciate the steps you've taken, the lessons you've learned, and the resilience you've developed. What once felt insufficient becomes enough. What once felt behind becomes on time. Financially, the inward focus brings discipline. When you are not distracted by the appearance of others' success, you make decisions based on your long-term vision rather than momentary pressure. You invest with purpose. You spend with intention. You pursue goals that reflect who you are, not who others expect you to be. This discipline compounds over time, creating stability, momentum, and lasting progress. Another beautiful result of this inward shift is the awakening of personal creativity. When your attention is no longer consumed by comparison, you gain space to think, imagine, and innovate. You reconnect with ideas you once ignored. You see opportunities that were invisible when your focus was outward. You discover strengths that comparison kept hidden. Your mind becomes a place of possibility rather than pressure. Most importantly, when you stop looking outward, you stop living reactively and begin living intentionally. Your decisions stem from clarity rather than insecurity. Your goals grow from desire rather than comparison. Your progress reflects your truth rather than someone else's direction. This creates not only financial growth but personal fulfillment, an internal blooming that continues to expand with each aligned choice. Inward growth is not loud. It does not seek applause or visibility. It does not require an audience. It is the quiet unfolding of a life built from authenticity, self-awareness, and emotional maturity. And like all things rooted deeply, it is strong, stable, and impossible to shake. Everything begins to bloom inward the moment you choose yourself, not the illusion of someone else's success, but the reality of your own potential. When you nurture that inner world, the outer world gradually transforms with it. And in that transformation, you discover the freedom, clarity, and peace that comparison could never offer. If you believe this chapter could help someone, feel free to share it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. And if you enjoyed this audiobook, please like and subscribe. Your support truly helps us keep creating more content like this.